let's talk about how to look after your machine. There's a few things you might need to grab this. A paintbrush, a nice dry, clean, probably never been used with paintbrush. Have nice firm bristles. I like to use antibacterial surface wipes, or any kind of, you know, even a wet wipe will do as well, and a lint-free cloth. Now every so often I just like to go in with a paintbrush and just rub out with my paintbrush, get into all of the nooks and crannies around the rollers, also around the blade housing, and just make sure that you're getting rid of any dust. Get right back there into the back as well. Really get in there. On your maker machine, you've got the sensor at the side that detects the blade. Make sure you give that a good going over as well. Just really make sure there's no tiny little bits and bobs, especially if you've been cutting glitter card or intricate cuts, any little bits that might have been floating around, get in those. The same with Joy. Particularly spend some time under these two parts here that feed the machine. They have a sensor under there that detects that the mat is loaded, or the smart materials are loaded. So if that isn't clean, you're not going to get a good detection. So just again, give that a good rub out. Then you can use a clean, dry, lint-free cloth just to give everything a good going over. Or if I've got any kind of marks, I don't know if you can see how dirty my Explore is, but where the kind of mat's feeding through, it's picking up bits from my craft table from the mat. There can be some kind of grubby parts. I just like to keep a packet of antibacterial wipes to hand and give all of that a good wipe if it's a bit kind of sticky and horrible. And get all over my machine as well. Now the number one thing you don't want to do here is clean any of the silver rollers. Leave them be. Those have a coating on them, a kind of oil, and if you remove that, your machine won't move as nicely. So don't be tempted to wash that at all. Now if for some reason that has happened, contact Cricut customer care and they'll send you a little sachet of oil to pop on there, or a tiny little drop of sewing machine oil will do the job, but just make sure none of that oil is sat on your machine anywhere that could get into any other parts, but they will talk you through that. So yeah, those are my top tips. Avoid the rollers, same on Joy, don't touch them, give everything else a good clean with your brush, make sure everything's nice and dry, get rid of all that dust and any sticky bits. Take them off with a nice wet cloth, but I like a antibacterial wipe because it gets all that stickiness off really nicely and makes my machines look beautiful. Apart from that, just make sure they're stored in a nice, lovely environment. Keep the lids down when they're not in use so they're not getting bits falling onto them that you don't want in there. And of course, give them a bit of love. Bit of TLC, talk to them every now and again. That's how to look after your machines.